Trend analysis in Power BI is the process of understanding and identifying patterns and changes within your data set over time. It helps you uncover insights into how your metrics are behaving and predict future trends. So welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Excel Island, where the goal and objective is to learn and master the Microsoft Power BI tool over the next 100 days. And today is day 52. We'll be starting a new course today. We'll be starting a new course which contains 4 chapters as usual. So the new course, or I'll probably call it a new case study, is called Trend Analysis in Power BI, where you will learn how to analyze time series, visualize your data, and spot trends. We're going to be building new date variables, discover run charts, and get into calculating rolling averages. Very, very important. And finally, you will learn how to find out how to identify which variable exhibits the most influence on the target variables using Power BI decomposition trees and key influencers. So in the first chapter today, we are going to be starting chapter 1 today. We'll just explore the variables and multiple ways to extract further variables using EDA. That is the knowledge we learned for the previous 4 live stream. So like day of the week and time differences. We'll get our hands on with Power BI to build line charts, to calculate metrics and discover trends hidden within our data sets. So the whole goal of trend analysis is to discover trends and insights that is hidden within your data set so you can predict future trends. So we will learn period over period and especially rolling averages. So period over period changes, like same period last year or same period or from previous year, same period this month from previous month or previous last year, or especially rolling averages. So welcome back to the channel. So my name is Abatan Sheriffdeen. So if you are new to the channel, so the goal and objective is to learn and master the Microsoft Power BI tool over the next 100 days, and we're actually moving on a good pace. So if you want to catch up from previous learning journey, previous live stream, just go to the live stream tab on the channel. You'll see a lot of videos on Power BI from day 1 till today's date. We haven't missed a day. So also you can see hundreds of SQL also on the channel. If you're looking to upskill yourself in SQL language, that was where the whole idea started. So without further ado, let's jump back to learning. Also, all data set exercise files, Power BI files that we'll need and we'll be using for the next 100 days is already linked under the YouTube description. Do make sure to download those files and practice along with me. So welcome to the channel. So let's jump back to our Power BI journey. So we're actually using the DataCamp platform for this learning journey. I'll just go to the career track section real quick so you can see all what is happening. We're actually on the data analyst in Power BI career track, and we are 70% throughout the whole career track, as you can see right here. And we actually started with data analyst in SQL, which went for a period of 100 days also. So definitely after completing this data analyst in Power BI, we are moving to data analyst in Python. So you definitely want to subscribe right now and put on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know whenever I go live or drop a new content on the channel. So you can improve your data skills with me also. So if I click on data analyst in Power BI really quick, so you can see we have 48 hours of learning, 17 courses. We've covered from all the way from introduction to Power BI till this our trend analysis in Power BI, which is the 13th course. And we have just 4 more courses to complete the whole career track. And, we've covered quite a lot within the Power BI interface. So we could just get our hands on projects. So with that two case study we've done so far. This analyzing customer churn in Power BI and HR analytics in Power BI. I think this is our third case study, trend analysis in Power BI. So without further delay, let's get started. So starting to explore time series data. So let's get familiar with what we have in our data sets.
Welcome to the course. My name is Jacob and I'll be your instructor. In this course, we will be exploring the relationship between time and other variables. This type of analysis is typically referred to as time series analytics because of the focus on how the value of the variable changes over time. The formal definition of a time series is a series of data points graphed in chronological order. These data points are commonly taken at equally spaced points in time, such as months, days, hours, or minutes. Time series analysis is the act of extracting meaningful statistics and insights from such data. Generally, the use cases for this are to better understand underlying patterns, for example, cyclical seasonal trends, systemic challenges, uncovering relationships between time and a target outcome, and informing a forecasting model. Some specific examples include deciphering weather patterns, monitoring heart rate, evaluating quarterly sales, or interest rates. One of the fantastic things about time-based variables is how easy they can be transformed. It is a muse for creative analytics, as time can be mutated into different grains and perspectives. For example, the time variable subscription start date can be analyzed by its year, month, or day. Likewise, the specific hour of the day, minutes, and seconds can be parsed out and analyzed. The creativity doesn't stop there. The date can be further decomposed into the day of the year, week of the year, day of the week, and so on. Along with decomposing the date into individual parts, it can be compared to other dates to extract further information for analysis. For example, the subscription start date variable can be compared to the current date, 2021-12-22 in this case, to obtain the age of the subscription. Likewise, the age can be used to categorize an observation, such as new versus old subscriptions. Another important type of a time series metric within business is the change over a determined period of time. Commonly, the period time will be a year, quarter, or month. It is referred to as a period over period change. It is calculated by subtracting the previous period value from the current period value and dividing by the previous period value. The result is the percentage change from the previous period. This type of metric can help dampen seasonal trends and discern long-term trends. Here's an example of the month-over-month change for the price of a stock. We can see a general increase in stock price even though February is a decrease. January 2018 doesn't have a percentage change in this table because it is the first instance. The following exercises will leverage a couple of DAX date functions. Before jumping in, I'll introduce them here. First, the date function constructs a date value from parts, i.e., year, month, and day. Left is a function which extracts a given number of characters from a set of characters starting from the left side. Right is the opposite function which extracts a given number of characters from a set of characters starting from the right side. The mid function extracts a given number of characters, again, from a set of characters, starting from a defined place in the set. Finally, weekday returns the day of the week as a number. Note, the default is to use the number 1 for a Sunday, but this can be modified, for example, to use the number 1 for Monday. Now it's your turn to derive time-based variables and analyze trends.
Oh, cool. That is interesting. So we need to understand time variables, analyze trends. Okay, statement about time series analysis. So which statement about time series analysis is false? Emphasis on false. So it involves a sequence of data points in chronological order. It is the only mechanism to forecast future trends or events. It is used to understand patterns within a target variable. That's true. it can be used to determine seasonal trends of book sales. So definitely used for sales, to determine sales. So that is informing season specific trends, or so let's look at it involves sequence of data points in a chronological order. That's false. It doesn't have to be in a chronological order, but it is the only mechanism to forecast future trends or events. Yes, we can use to forecast future trends or events. Let's go for option. Ooh. So the statement is true. Time series is by definition a chronological series of data points. It doesn't have to be chronological. What do you mean by chronological series? Does it have to follow each other? It can be a date or the next date jumping. It can be 1st of January. It doesn't have to be second, but it can be 3rd, 5th. I guess so. I need to understand the meaning of chronological. Okay. So it is only commonly mechanism to forecast future trends. That seems to be false. But it is used to understand patterns within a target variable. Yes, that's correct. It is used to determine seasonal trends of book sales. So it is only mechanism here. That's probably false. Exactly. It can be the only mechanism. That's right. Time series analysis can help inform building a model to forecast, but it is not the forecasting mechanism itself. Oh, it is not the actual forecasting mechanism itself. Oh, that's interesting. So let's do a B and B time series. Okay.
This lesson starts our journey of time series analysis. First, creating a new date variable, then starting to explore trends of different date grains, and finally, month-over-month changes. Time series analysis requires a time-based variable. In the data view, we can see that the Glassdoor dataset includes a review date key. It seems to be a concatenation of year, month, and day, but we can transform this into a date type variable using DAX. To do this, click on New Column under Table Tools in the top ribbon. The DAX formula will use date to create a new date variable. There are 3 inputs: year, month, and day. For year, we will use the other DAX function left, review date key as the input, and extract the first 4 characters. For month, use mid, again review date key, starting at character 5 and extracting 2 characters. Finally, for day, use right with review date key and extract the last 2 characters. We can see the new date variable next to the date key in the fields pane. We can see that Power BI automatically created a date hierarchy as well for this variable. This provides different date grains or levels of the date for analysis and visualizations. I'll create a stacked column chart to show the number of distinct reviews by date. Power BI will initiate visualizations using date hierarchies at the highest level, in this case, year. Several options exist to drill down to the lower levels. First, the double down arrows, which drills into each level and aggregates the values at that level. Clicking a couple of times will take me to month and show counts of reviews by month. One more time will drill down to the date level and show counts for each day of the month across all 3 months, which is useful when looking to answer questions about trends existing within a typical month. Let's move back up the hierarchy. The other option is the split double down arrows. This will expand each level in the hierarchy into the next level in aggregate. To visualize this, I'll drill down again to the lowest level, day. Instead of aggregating at the day of the month level across all months, it aggregates at the day of the month for each month. Finally, you can drill down into specific points by turning on drill mode, clicking on the single down arrow. Then, click into the point of interest, for example, 2021, quarter 1, March. Here we are aggregating at, again, day of the month, but only for March. We've seen how the count of reviews changes across dates, but what about day of the week? We can get to this answer using DAX. We will create a new variable called day of week, then use weekday with the Glassdoor review date to extract the day of the week of each date. Note, the function will represent Sunday as the first day of the week by default. I'll create a new stacked column chart using day of the week on the axis and a distinct count of review ID as the values. More reviews were clearly written on Tuesday, the third day of the week. Does this vary between males and females? Adding the gender variable to small multiples will split the column chart into two. The two genders show different times in posting reviews. Finally, another important part of analyzing a variable over time is understanding how it changes between periods, for example, from one month to the next. Power BI makes this easy with date hierarchy variables and quick measures. Let's create a quick measure. Under Calculations, choose the appropriate time intelligence option, for example, month-over-month change. Drag the date variable to date, review ID to base value, and leave number of periods at 1 as we only want to calculate the change from the previous month. I'll rename to month-over-month change. On a new page, I'll create a new clustered column chart, then drag review date to axis, month-over-month change to values, and drill down to the month level. June shows a massive month-over-month drop. However, that's because May is the last month with data, so expected. There was a 30% increase in reviews in May. And now it's your turn to start your time series analysis.
That's quite interesting. Okay, so let's give it a shot. So we have 3 challenges: generating a new date variable, analyzing trends by day of week, calculating year-over-year change. Okay, so generating a new variable. So the beginnings of time series analysis starts with having a date variable. In a lot of real-world data sets, a date variable will need to be extracted from an existing variable or formatted appropriately to be used in a time series analysis. In this exercise, you will get some experience doing just that. First, you will create a new date variable from the existing hosts since date key variable, then analyze new hosts over time. Okay. Oh, we are quite aware of this. So close all reports, then open date key. So from the exercise folder on the desktop, I'll just use my own desktop here. Oh, just a minute. I need to restart my data sets. Okay. So date key right there. So it is coming up here. So on a new page named hosts by date, create a table showing number of distinct hosts per date using hosts since date key. Okay, let's wait a minute for that to launch. So let's check that real quick. So it is already launched. Okay. So it says on a new page. So we have to create a new page there. On a new page, hosts by dates. Let's rename it to hosts by dates. I'm not actually naming a column. It says create a table showing number of distinct hosts. A table. Let's drop in a table first. We have a table right here. So the table is supposed to show the number of distinct hosts per dates. Okay, let's check our MBRB data by dates. Do we have any dates column here? Okay, we could just check table view just to see what we have here. We have the date key. So host since date key. Host since date key. You can see our date key is not properly formatted. So I think we need to first create a new column from here. We want to count the number of hosts, number of distinct hosts per date. That is the listing host ID. We're definitely going to be using the host ID. I think we need to first of all create a new the proper date. We need to format our dates properly. Okay. So to do that, we're going to go to a new column. So our new column is going to be, I'm going to call the new column, what should we give it? Host since date. Since better we call it host since dates is going to be equal to, we need to get the year first. So we're going to say dates. So we need to provide the year. So the year is going to be a function of left, a function of left. So the text we want to extract is this host since date key. Host since date key. The number of characters we want to extract is the number of years, which is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Then we close that. Then comma, up, comma to the month parts. So our month part is going to be a function of the mid function. So we're going to start from the 5th position. So same thing with host since date key. Then comma, starting position is going to be the 5th position. And extract 2 characters from that position. So the day is the right function of the right. So the text is going to be host since date key. Then comma, number of characters from the right, the last 2 characters or the first 2 characters. Then that should be everything for our dates function. So we just formatted our dates properly now. Let's log that in and see the results. Aha, you can see. Because we now have our host since dates, which is going to be, we're going to have a date hierarchy of year, quarter, month, and day by default. So we are good to go. Let's go back to the chart view, to the report view rather. So it says on a new page, hosts by dates. Create a table showing number of distinct hosts per date using host since date key. Okay, so we're going to add number of distinct posts per what? Per dates. Okay, so what we're going to use the dates key. I have my date. Okay, just get rid of this. So it has dropped in another table. So now I want to count number of distinct hosts. That should be the host ID. Where's our host ID? This is the host ID here. Okay. Oh, hold up, hold up. So I could just ask, it should be in a table, so I could just add it. I'll just add it here as part of the data. That should be the host ID. It's added. So, but I want it a distance. So I'm going to change this one from sum to count distance. This is better now. Yeah, but the challenge we can't drill down, but let's leave it like this. Since it is by day, you can see for the quarter one of January. So it's going to be a pretty long data. You can see. But let's move on. There are better visuals to do this, but we need to follow the instruction. Host by date, create a table showing number of distinct hosts per date. We've done that. So create a new column named host since date that extract the date from the host since date key using a date function. The function should include left, mid, right. We've done that to pass out the appropriate dates part as shown in the previous video. We've actually done that. So okay, let's go back and follow the instruction and actually use the host since date key alone. If I just use host since date key alone, let me see this date key, and I'm going to add the host ID. Then this time around is going to be a distinct count. So if I use the host since date key, it's just summing the dates because it is summing it. If I say don't summarize, let's see what it will give us. Okay, you can see it's going to give us each date. You can see 2019 01 01, 2019 01 02, 2019 03, and so on and so forth. Okay, but we've actually done these steps that was instructed here. Create a new column named host since dates, which was what we actually did. That's quite smart. Where is it? Host since dates. So did that faster. Then replace the host since date key with the new host since date hierarchy variable. Okay, let's replace this. Same thing with dates. Okay, I'll just add this host ID also. I change summarization to distinct count back. Okay. Create a star column chart to inspect the total count of distinct hosts by date. Make sure to change hierarchy level to display only months. Create a star column chart. Let's move this by the side. Let's drop a stack column chart. So our stack column chart is going to be for total count of distinct hosts by dates. Okay, make sure to change hierarchy level. Total count of distinct hosts by date. Okay, let's drop host since date key. Yeah, so on the y-axis is going to be our host ID, but it's going to be distinct count distance. Okay, then it says make sure to change hierarchy level to display only months. We want to change it to display. See, this by year. So we want to change it to display only months. I can just say click to turn on drill down. This by year, so I can drill down to the year quarter. From year to quarter, you can see year to quarter, then months. You can see by months. So this, we're looking at number of hosts by distinct hosts by months. So what's now the question? Is this which month has the highest total number of hosts joined across all years? Exactly, across all years. Because if you are looking at it, as it's 2019, 2020, 2021. So we're not looking at it for each year. We're looking at it throughout the whole year. So if I drill down, it's giving us for the whole of quarter of 3 years. Yes, the whole of quarter for the 3 years, the whole of the months for the 3 years. So the highest month is July with 543. That should be July. Let's log that in. That should be July. Great. So that's correct. Across all years in the data set, more hosts join in the month of July than all other months, as we can see on the chart here. That's pretty straightforward. Okay, so let's move on to the next challenge, analyzing trends by day of week. So time series analysis is conducted at various dates, grains, year, month, week, day. It also involves evaluating trends at different dates derived context, such as day of the week. In this exercise, you will use the weekday function to create a new day of the week variable, then analyze trends by city with small multiples. Okay, let's continue. Create a new variable called day of week. This column must use the weekday function to get the weekday number for each date in the host since date. So we simply want to get the day of the week this date falls into. So it can be either Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. So by default, the first day of the week is Sunday, which is going to have the value of 1, but we can actually change it to Monday to have to be the first day of the week with the value of 1. But by default, it's actually going to be Sunday with a value of 1. Let's get a new variable called day of week. Okay. So I'm just going to go to a new measure. So I'm going to call our new measure day of week, which is going to be equals to the weekday function. And I'm just going to point to my host since dates. Wait a minute. The date is going to be hosts. Should I do that within the table view? Let's do this within the table view. This will be a new column. It's going to be day of week. It's going to be a weekday function. I'm going to point to my host since dates. It's going to ask me return type, but that one is by default. I'm just going to ignore it first. Let's see what it's going to return. Say day of the week that this date falls into is the sixth day of the week. That is Friday. So that's just it. So let's go ahead. And so we've gotten that. Use the dash function weekday. Remember the mentioned dash function will take a value of 1, i.e. the first day of the week as Sunday by default. So we knew that. Okay. Create a new page called day of week. Let's create a new page and call it day of week. day of week. So by day of the week page, then add a filter on the page to show data for the years 2019 and 2020. Create a new page called day of week, then add a filter on the page. So filter on this page, when I bring it should be filter on this page. I'm going to bring in my dates, host and date key. So data key, I want to bring in the year column. So it's going to be basic filtering. I want to filter on this page for only which year? 2 years, 2019 and 2020. 2019, 2020. So any chart I display on the canvas is going to be showing for the year 2019 and 2020 only. So take note of that. So if you move ahead to the next instruction, so visualize the distinct count of hosts by day of week with a clustered column chart. So let's drop in a clustered column chart. So we want to look at the distinct count of hosts by day of week. Distinct count of hosts day of week. So our day of week function, day of week, go up there. Then we have distinct count of hosts. Let's look for host ID. Nope. My host ID should be here. Ooh. Let's see, day of week should be here. My day of week should be on my x-axis, and my host ID should be on my y-axis. Okay, correct. But we want to look at the distinct count of these records. So the host ID is going to show me instead of summarization of some amount of distinct counts of the record. So you can see for the day of week with the highest host joining is on Monday, the second day of the week. Yes, so on Monday. But it could be different by gender. Like if you have another record here for maybe gender or another category that we can use to segment our data sets. But let's move on to the next instruction. Duplicate the bar chart and convert it to small multiples for each city. We want to see the cities with the highest host joining. Let's just duplicate this. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and just bring it here. We have our charts in two places, but this is going to have a small multiples of city. You can see. So we could look at for New York, Paris, we have 4 cities, Rome and Sydney. Which city has the highest host joining and which day of the week is that? If you just make it a little bit bigger, you could see that day of the week for New York, it is the 4th day of the week. That is Wednesday. For Paris, it is the 3rd day of the week. That is Tuesday. For Rome, it is the 3rd day of the week. That is Tuesday also. And for Sydney, it is the 2nd day of the week. That is Monday. Interesting. It now says which day number of the week has the least number of hosts starting in each city, except for in New York. Oh, let's understand that question. Which day number of the week has the least number of hosts starting in each city, except for New York? Okay, has the least number of hosts starting in each city. Okay, except for New York. So excluding New York, which city has the least? That should be Paris. You can see this count of the week for Rome is 124. For Paris, I'm not filtering that. No, we're not doing any formatting. when we compare Paris, the difference, where our answer is between Paris and Rome. You can see for Rome, the day of the week is 124. For Paris is 131. But the question now says, which day number of the week has the least number of hosts starting in each city, except for New York? That should be Sunday, though. It said, which day number of the week has the least number of hosts starting in each city? Oh. Let's look at the number of the week that has the least number of hosts that start in each city. So which day of the week has the least number of hosts starting in each city, except for in New York? You can see, I'm guessing it's Rome. See, Rome is starting with the least number of hosts. Look at Paris. The starting is high. So let's log that in and see. But this is the least common day in New York, but not in other city. The least common day in New York. Are you kidding me? Okay, the least common day. Yes, this is the least common day in New York. Oh. When we compare New York, all the other weeks in New York, this is the least common day with number of hosts in New York. Okay. So okay, the question now says, I need to understand the question pretty well. It says, which day number of the week has the least number of hosts starting in each city? Oh. The question is not understood. So I'm going to look at the 3 week. So I'm going to look at the day of the week that started with least number of hosts. For Paris, I think it is day 7 of the week. I see this is 101, this is 113. So I think that's the list. When we compare it to other cities, and see, when you look at it, 101, compare it to other cities, or 1112. As this is pretty high. So the day of the week here is all of them are pretty high with the with number of hosts. When you compare the day of week in Rome, it's pretty high. Oh, hold up. Day 7 here is 1112, 101. I got it. So I could figure out that, can see that the number of these cities, let me try to interpret it better. So when we look at each city, we want to look at which day of the week has the least number of hosts. When we say that New York, all the hosts at least above 200. When you compare Paris to Rome and Sydney, at least the number of hosts here is pretty high here. Their list is 190 here, but it isn't the lowest. Compared to Paris, Paris has the lowest. I think their lowest here is day 7 of the week compared to Rome. You see, compared to Rome, when you look at the number of hosts, their lowest here is day 7 also, but it is higher than that of Rome, which is 101. So that's how we figure out the answer there. So that's correct. The 7th day of the week seems to be a day of relaxation as fewer hosts start on Saturday in the cities. That's interesting. So I think this is the final challenge here, which is calculating year-over-year change. So after analyzing trends in a target variable by different date grains and context, it's often important to quantify the difference across similar time periods. An example of this would be a year-over-year change. In this exercise, you will create a new quick measure to calculate year-over-year change for new hosts joining the Airbnb platform. Okay, we're going to create a new page named year-over-year change. Let's create a new page for this analysis. This is going to be year-over-year change. YOY. Year-over-year change. So I'm going to use the quick measure. Add a filter to the page for the years 2019 and 2020. Let's add a filter on this page. So let's go to the all since date key. Let's bring in the year. Do basic filtering for the year 2019 and 2020 only. Okay. So create a clustered column chart showing the distinct count of hosts by month and use year in the legend. Create a clustered, let's open a clustered column chart first. A clustered column chart. Cluster column chart there, right there. So now cluster column chart, we want to see, we are looking at distinct count of hosts by months. Okay, let's look at that. The months, distinct count of hosts by months, host since date key. But we want our y-axis to have the host ID, but a distinct count of host ID. Ooh. But it says by months. Let's go down to the month level. Okay, this is the month level. Let's see. Count of hosts by months. But it now says create a cluster column chart showing the distinct count of hosts by month and use year in the legend. In our legend here, we need to use the year, okay, to differentiate them. Okay, you can look at it for the year 2019 and 2020. That's the filter we have on the page. Don't forget, we have a filter on the page already for the year. Filter on this visual, no filter on the page showing for year 2019 and 2020. That's what we are seeing there. Okay. Create a new quick measure for the year-over-year change of the distinct count of hosts using the variable host since date as the date indicator for the measure. You can also learn how to write year-over-year from scratch. Oh, so that was on the Power BI function. So I can actually learn that next time. But let's use a quick measure for this exercise. I'm going to go to the quick measure. Come on. Okay, let's go to quick measure. What's wrong with my system? Okay. Quick measure. So we want to calculate a time intelligence function, which is year-over-year change. So our base value is going to be our date is going to be host since date key. Let's drop in the host since date key first. Host since date. Our base value is going to be, what are we going to use for our base value? That should be host ID. Let's use the host ID. So number of period is 1. Let's leave it as 1. This will account a distinct count of hosts using the variable host since date as the date indicator for the measure. We name the measure to year-over-year change. Okay, let's log that in to add. It's going to write a lot of that function for us. But let's change it to, I'm not doing year-over-year percentage change. Okay, let's name it to year-over-year change. It'll be year-over-year. Year-over-year change. Okay. So let's log that in. So we have that logged in. Okay, so the next instruction now says create a new bar chart showing the year-over-year change of the number of hosts by month and using year until in the legend. Okay, a new bar chart. Let's bring this right here. So we're going to create a new bar chart. With a cluster column here, stack bar. Log chart. Let's use a bar chart. Let's simply use let's just use the normal bar chart here. So we want to create a new bar chart showing year-over-year change of the number of hosts by month. Year-over-year change. Okay, let's go up to year-over-year calculation. Year-over-year change is shown in percentage. But we didn't format it to percentage though. Okay, let's leave that. I could just come back to that. Number of hosts by month. Let's look at the hosts. Uh-oh. Okay, what am I missing? I'm missing something. Okay, then my host ID is going to be the count. Why is my host ID running away? I'm not getting any visual on my charts. So I can summarize it. Oof, okay. Something is wrong somewhere. It said the instruction says create a new bar chart showing the year-over-year change. So if I'm to use create a new quick measure for the year-over-year change of the distinct count of hosts using the variable host since dates. Let's get our new quick measure again. I'll just get rid of this, my quick measure here. Let's add a quick measure one more time. Well, let me just watch the video of the instructor doing it so you could see any mistake.
This lesson
Okay,
month
hold up.
change. Drag the date variable to date, review ID to base value, and leave number of periods.
So it is count of review ID. What was my own counting? I couldn't figure out what. Okay, let's do it one more time. It says new quick measure. So let's see what it shows there. It's calculating month over month change. His own calculation was month over month change. Mine was instructed to be year over year change. Okay. Trend analysis. Year over year change. So my base value is going to be, so the dates key is going to be all since dates. Definitely what he also used, review dates. Then the base value is going to be, his one was count of review ID.
Time intelligence option, for example, month over month change. Drag the date variable to date, review ID to base value, and leave number of periods.
So why is my own My host ID should be showing a count. It's doing a summarization. We're supposed to be doing a count. Okay, okay. Because the instruction says create a new quick measure for the year-over-year change of the distinct count of host ID. So distinct count. So I have to change it to distinct counts, not ordinary count. Distinct count of host ID. Yeah, distinct counts. Like that was why I did a mistake in my calculation. Supposed to be a distinct count. Okay, I think we are good to go. And the date indicators and using the variable host since date as the date indicator for the measure. If you want to check, okay, we don't need to check. Okay, let's go on. I think we now got it perfectly well. Okay, now let's change it to year over year. Oh, what was that? Year over year change. Okay, now let's do it one more time. Follow the instruction. Create a new bar chart showing the year over year change of the number of hosts by month. Create a bar chart. Let's open a bar chart. It's supposed to be showing year over year change of the number of hosts by month using year in the legend. Okay, number of hosts by month. Then it should be number of hosts by month. Nope, nope. So instead of showing now my host is showing wrong calculation. What's the challenge there? Oh. Hold on a minute. Okay, I think I'm having hold up. Year over year change. Year over year change. Then number of hosts. So I can summarize my number of hosts. Oh, let's figure out what is happening. So we did the same thing here. Hmm. Okay. So my y-axis. Okay, let me just get rid of this chart. Stack bar chart. So instruction says create a new bar chart. So then specify column charts. Let's use a clustered column. Let's use a cluster column chart here. Year over year change. Okay. Host ID. I'm still wondering why I can't add. You can see I'm having summarization challenge. What's the challenge here? Something is wrong somewhere. Let me read it again. Create a new bar chart showing the year over year change of the number of hosts by month. Oh, okay. Let's look at how the instructor did it one more time. After the calculation, how did he drop it in the charts? We need to go back to our video.
This lesson starts our journey.
Okay.
I'll rename to month-over-month change. On a new page, I'll create a new clustered column chart, then drag review.
Instead of creating a, let me just use a cluster column chart for my calculation as I did here. Why am I using the wrong chart, please? Okay. Then for my axis should be the host ID. Then should I can't even summarize it again. But same thing we did here. We use, oh, hold up a minute. This, oh. The instruction says, okay,
Review date to axis, month-over-month change to values, and drill down.
So that was my silly mistake. I was supposed to drop in my dates key since I have my, hold up, I have my year-over-year change, but it's supposed to be by dates, or since dates. You see, since I have to get year-over-year change. That was my silly mistake there. Silly mistake. Then my values is going to be to see the difference. My values, there's no value key here, value column here, but let's pay attention. Let me rewatch the video.
Create a new clustered column chart, then drag review date to axis, month-over-month change to values.
Month-over-month change to values. So I don't have values here. There's no values in my cluster column charts. When you look at the way the chart drops, if you date under here, month-over-month change on the axis. So that is still the same thing as x-axis, y-axis. Okay, clustered column charts. If you drop year-over-year change, it should be on the y-axis as it is here. Then my review date is going to be, or since date is going to be on the x-axis. Same thing there. You can see all since date.
And drill down to the month level.
Okay.
June shows.
So we just have to drill down to the level that we want. But we have to look for the count. Okay, hold up. All since dates. If I drill down, let me drill up. Let me click to turn on drill down. If I drill up back, you can see this is for the year 2020. But remember, I have on my dates, the filter on my dates is showing for the year 2019 and 2020. Why is my chart not showing for those 2 years? Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Like my year-over-year change calculation is not okay. But let me hold on. The instruction says I should add the year to the legend. Okay, hold up. It says so create a new bar chart showing the year-over-year change of the number of hosts by month. Okay, number of hosts by month. So let me drill down to by month. This by year, quarter, month. It now says using year in the legend. Okay, so my legend should have the year filter. Oh, then I can now see the difference for that year. So this is for the year 2020. But this is only looking at the year 2020 though. That's interesting. So which month had the largest absolute year-over-year change in 2020? Can I change it to 2021? Why is it showing me for the year 2020 only? Okay, but if I look at my data sets here, we have, when I look at the filters I have for the year 2019, 2020. So it won't be for the, because for the previous, for the year 2019, there's no previous year. So I won't be seeing results for the year 2019. I'll be only seeing results for the year 2020 compared to the previous year. So there's no 2018 year. So I can't say the year over year change for 2019 compared to 2018. But since there is 2020 and the previous year is 2019, I'm going to see the result for previous year. If I include 2021, it's going to change. Can I see 2021, 2020, and 2021? So I don't want 2021 there. Just want to look at the year 2020. So the question now says, which month had the largest absolute year-over-year change in 2020? Had the largest? That should be March. You can see, yeah, March compared to the year of 2019. You can see all of them, they dropped 0%. Let's say March. So by quarter, we have do down year, quarter, month, day. Interesting. So that should be March, July, February, March. But there's no month, there's no January for, there's no previous month for to be compared with January. So it's not comparing any calculation there. So let's go for March. Oh, absolute change doesn't necessarily have to be positive change. Wow. They say which month had the largest absolute year-over-year change? Okay, which month of the largest absolute year-over-year change? So the change doesn't have to be positive. That should be May. I think it has the highest, has the largest. That's correct. So absolute doesn't have to be positive. Wow, I learned something new. So it said which month had the largest absolute year-over-year change in 2020? Why is it? Why is it that negative is now negative is bad, positive is good? So it says that correct. May drop minus 40% from 2019 to 2020. The greatest absolute change, though a negative one. You can say that's so. Let's see. Minus 40 point. That means we know the calculation absolutely well, perfectly well. That's interesting. Minus 40.43 based on our year-over-year change tax measure here. Interesting. But we actually use a quick measure to solve that. So interesting. Minus 40.43. That's great. Wow. So we know this also. Super fast. Oh, we are moving to the next chapter. That will be on daily live stream. So that will be the end of the live stream for today. As you can see, running time series analysis is quite interesting and can be way challenging sometimes. All right, so thanks for staying to the end of the live stream. So if you found value learning Power BI with me, especially if you enjoyed this time series analysis and playing around with DAX function, playing around with dropping column fields on charts, making mistake and try to figuring it out, well done. So do not forget to download those data sets under the link in the YouTube description so you can practice and download these files, have access to the files and practice along with me as I do in the video. Just 1 hour per day and you're definitely improving your Power BI skills over time. All right. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, share your thoughts with me in the comment section, and I'll be happy to read them and reply to your comments. And I'll see you on day 53 as we continue to the next chapter on this time series analysis.